Hey again everyone, and welcome back to the next video of the next car review, and this time I bring you another BMW. This one is an exciting one. This is the E92 M3, the car that BMW decided to take things on the next level, with its bigger engine, with more power, with major changes of the styling with a muscular body with aggressive fenders. Here's everything you need to know about this BMW E92 M3 and why it is the craziest BMW M3 ever made. 7 years after the launch of the infamous E46 M3 with the inline 6, BMW introduced this E92 M3 in 2007 in fall at the Geneva Motor Show, where the biggest change was the engine underneath the hood, the big V8 and the brand new aerodynamics. BMW threw out the old 6-cylinder power unit from the previous model M3s like the E46 and the E36 and replaced it with a purpose-built V8 engine that was unrelated to any other existing V8 from the BMW company. The E92 M3 was a huge success at the time and was the only V8 production M3 and still is the only V8 M3. As soon as this car came out in 2007-2008, at the time, BMW fans were stunned. They went hype and they went crazy for this M3 because of the V8 that BMW took their project to the next level, that they never did anything legendary like before. Their objective was to establish a brand new V8 and stuck it in the M3 to make very loud noises and a powerful performance. Especially the E60 M5 was the same story alongside with this V10 engine. The E92 M3 is a high-performance sports car with Motorsport and outstanding performance 3 series with the introduction of the M-Drive system and luxury elements with a strong muscularity appearance. Underneath the hood, this M3 features a monster 4-liter naturally aspirated V8 producing just 414 brake horsepower, which is powerful. The new engine at the time was codenamed the S65B40, which brought it with more cylinders, more displacement, more M power, and more revs. The M3 has 295 pound-feet of torque, which is incredible, and can reach from 0 to 60 time in just 4 seconds, and a quarter mile in about 13.1 seconds, and can reach to a top speed of 174 miles per hour. That's quite impressive in today's sports car standards, and just the same top speed as the successor, the normal BMW M4. This E92 M3 weighed about 3,483 pounds, which is much more than the previous M3s, mostly because how massive the engine is on the front axle. The engine also has high spec, revving up to 8,300 RPM, and the engine was inspired by the BMW Sauber F1 team, and this car had a 6-speed manual transmission, and also this BMW was the first BMW to bring an optional dual clutch before the future BMWs just went dual clutch or automatic transmission, basically the M4 and up to now. The E92 M3 went in production from 2007 to July 2013, and 40,000 units were produced worldwide with a few updates through its years. The variant started with this original M3 and came with other 2 body styles, with the E93 convertible and the E90 sedan with the same engine. Then BMW released a track version of this E92 M3 called the E92 GTS in late 2009 as the 2010 model, and it was designed for the track purpose, used the changes like the upgraded engine with larger displacement from a 4.0-liter to a 4.4-liter V8 engine, and it increased the horsepower to 444 horsepower and way less than regular E92 M3 with revised suspension, updated brakes, and adjustable aerodynamics. Then BMW came out with the M3 CRT Special Edition in 2011, following the pickup prototype, which was for April Fools, and then the Competition Edition in 2013. This E92 M3 in particular has an aggressive styling. It looks so German, muscular, and mean looking, and sounds brutal, and I always love the Angel Eyes LED headlights. That's the most attractive that I always find on BMWs, is those angel eyes, halo eyes, whatever you call them. They are quite a distinctive touch that BMW used in the time before changing it up in modern BMWs. The M3's hood was bulged upwards because of the fact that the engine is huge, and the hood bulge functions to accommodate the V8 engine and also to signify that it is a high performance version to be cool, fast, aggressive looking, and thrilling. That is one big deal to point out about this car, is that the hood is bulged upwards and is sticking out than the rest of the front of the car because of how big the V8 engine is. Also, another cool thing to mention, this car has a carbon roof panel which lowers the center of gravity and saves weight, and also has quad exhaust, and the car has 19-inch wheels, and the front grille of the BMW looks great. Back in the time when BMW grills look so awesome than the new M3 and M4 that you can find as of current today. So inside the interior of this E92 M3 is average, but not high luxury like most recent BMWs, and looks a bit outdated with a lot of plastic and stuff, but still is a good performance BMW if you are just looking for a weekend and performance car to drive and have fun with. One cool thing to mention when you get inside of this E92, it has automatic electronic seatbelt delivery mechanism that will bring the seatbelt forward to the driver so the driver can fasten his seatbelt. That is a cool technology for the mid-2000s because BMW did that just to be unique. Also notice when you get inside the car, it doesn't have leather seats, just fabric seats and no sunroof unlike previous models. Then you have a 6-speed manual shifter with the stability control which can turn on and off, and you also had a regular parking brake too. The center buttons are solid in the center console, and also the center buttons with AC, climate controls, center vents, and above that is a small infotainment screen. The steering wheel has simple buttons too, nothing all that special, and the controversial turn signal and also the simple gauge cluster is just basic. Now, the practicality wise, now if you want enough space in the back seats for top passengers, you pick the E90 sedan. The center console extends all the way back, therefore extra storage. The room in the back seats is average if you ask me, especially for like average adults, but it's not a sedan, and the trunk contains over 11 cubic feet of trunk space, and rear seats can be folded down for greater space. So like if you don't want anybody sitting in the back of your E92 and it's just uncomfortable back there, you can always put stuff in the trunk and fold the rear seats down for extra storage. The E92 M3 was the last true BMW M car in my opinion because of its naturally aspirated with a V8 engine. It feels very precise with hard cornering despite its bigger engine and a lot of power. This M3 has an excellent sound with great luxury and performance, and it's a really fun car to get behind the wheel and drive. And the E92 M3 is a really cool special car and represents a time that BMW went insane building a V8 for this car, and same story with the E60 M5 V10. Fun fact, both of these cars are very related to each other. Now, an additional fact about this E92 M3, the E92 M3 entered the motorsport competition with the M3 GT2 race car and made its racing debut in the United States in 2009 and the American Le Mans series with the V8 making 485 brake horsepower, replacing the E46 GTR. It compete in the GT2 class category, also compete in the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 2010, in the Nürburgring, and Spa. This was a cover car for a simulation racing game called Need for Speed Shift. The M3 GT2 won at the 12 Hours of Sebring in 2011 and 2012, coming in first and second in the podium, and also won at the 24 Hours of Spa in 2010, and then the M3 GT2 was succeeded by the Z4 GTE and the 2013 American Le Mans series and the rest of the series as well. Both the road and the race car is amazing. Now, about the good and the bad reasons why you shouldn't buy this E92 M3 is because of the electronic failures, like the rod bearings in the engine are known to having issues. And the engine rod bearings can break without warning, which can potentially blow up the engine, which is one of the reasons why I am scared to own this car in the future or thinking about driving it. Don't get me wrong, I will test this car in the future, but the main point is that I am afraid to own this car in the near future because of the issues with the rod bearings, that once the engine breaks, it is very expensive to get it repaired. But the E60 M5 has it way worse than the E92 M3, and I mean more issues. The good thing about buying this car is that this car has a V8 and it has high revving RPMs, and you will enjoy the performance that this E92 has. It is fast, fun to play around with, fun to listen to when you drive it. It still feels connected to the road, just like the regular E30 M3. That's slower but well balanced. And the E92 M3 is expensive to purchase. So that is the end of the car review of this E92 M3, and I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video for some more car reviews. Without further ado, let's jump inside of the E92 M3 and put the keys into the ignition and start the engine. Make sure to adjust your headphone volume and take a listen to the excellent engine noise. Peace out.